The Gina and Maddie podcast.
All right, Jenna Jeffries. Max Purcell, not really a name that's on a lot of people's lips, but he is an absolute Aussie champion. He has won two doubles majors. He is a tennis player. He represents Australia, and he has accepted an 18-month doping ban from the International Tennis Integrity Agency. Now, in late 2023, Purcell unknowingly received an IV infusion of vitamins above the allowed limit. So this is quite a big ban. 18 months is a huge ban. So he's Australia's two-time Grand Slam doubles champ. He has accepted this 18-month ban after breaching what is anti-doping rules. He admitted to the breach of the rules relating to the use of a prohibited method after unknowingly receiving an IV infusion of vitamins above the allowed limit of 100 millilitres in a 12-hour span. Then he's been in a provisional suspension since mid-December. So you would remember that Yannick Sinner, actually not that long ago, one of the top tennis players in the world, reached an agreement for a 3-month ban for 2 positive drug tests using something that was banned. So there's a little bit of controversy rolling around the severity of the ban for Max Purcell and if that ban would have been as high if he was maybe, say, a top 10 tennis player.
Oh, okay. And vitamins...
Yeah, so this is the statement that Max has put out since the handout has the punishment has been handed down. As announced by the ITIA, I've accepted a settlement for a period of ineligibility of 18 months with a loss of earnings from December 16th, 2023 to February 3rd, 2024. So anything he's won in that, he has to give back.
Are you kidding?
The case has been this is Max Purcell talking. The case has been going on for months. This is really sad, actually. The case has been going on for months, seriously affecting my quality of life, from being unable to sleep and eat properly and refusing to be by myself, to developing nervous and anxious tics, which I still currently battle day to day. I couldn't sit and enjoy anything without the thought of the case and the endless possibilities of what sanction I would receive. I was nothing but cooperative with the ITIA. Now, this is where he goes on a little bit explains what happened. It's a case of completely on exceeding the allowable limit of volume for an infusion. All substances in the infusion were approved, and beyond that, it provided me with 0 performance-enhancing benefits. It was 11 days prior to my first match of the season and was also administered in a 24/7 medical facility in a third world location after feeling extremely unwell and fatigued from training. I've accepted the mistake I've made and will ensure I'm even more diligent with everything regarding the integrity of the sport. So he's feeling really bad about himself. He's just gone over the exceeded limit that you're allowed to infuse yourself with vitamins and got no sort of benefit from it, but it broke the rules.
And there's no thought for his mental health with this either. That's a long time to take an elite athlete out of what they know and what they do, and what'll happen to his... 18 months is a long time, right?
Yeah, exactly. And tennis, you have a window. You've got a window of when you're in form and when you're at your peak. And
it's not like they're doing it until they're 70.
Yeah, but rules are rules. I guess they're the rules, but it's
vitamins.
The irony of the world number one getting a 3-month ban for a 2 positive drug tests for something that is banned, as opposed to an 18-month ban for exceeding a limit for something that is legal.
That's crazy.
Sometimes tennis doesn't make sense. All right, let's move on to something a little bit lighter. Saturday, we go to the polls. If you haven't already done some, pre-voting, this Saturday we make the decision in the federal election, and the thing that most people are excited about is the democracy sausage.
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy. And, spare a thought for those people who might have done some pre-polling and gone in and done the early voting.
Missed the sausage.
Well, if you don't want to miss the sausage, Uber Eats is here for you. They've teamed up with Ian Huey Hewitson, the man who has fingers like sausages, and they are going to be delivering democracy sausages to people around the country. Here's a little bit of the ad that they've released.
On election day, Australians rightly expect a sausage in bread for doing their civic duty. But the reality is, many find themselves snagless. Which is why on May the 3rd, I'm ordering one on Uber Eats. That's right, Uber Eats is rolling out an innovative sausage platform in Brisbane, Melbourne and Sydney to get more sausages in more mouths.
But Huey, what about onions?
A lot of Australians are asking that question. Well, onions are opt-in, and Uber Eats have made a 3-source promise.
Is this beef or pork?
And while you don't always know what's in a sausage, you do know what's outside one, a hungry Aussie. There you go. So this election day, I'm going to be firing up the Uber Eats app and getting my democracy sausage delivered. After all, this wasn't supposed to be the land of the have-snags and have-nots.
Authorised by Uber Eats Australia.
I tell you what, Uber Eats might not pay their staff enough, but they know how to market. That is absolutely unbelievable. So you can get yourself a democracy sausage if you're in Sydney, Brisbane, or Melbourne. You know what I also love? This second coming of Ian Huey Hewittson's career.
Yes.
Now, obviously, back in the day,
braces, right? The braces and a bit of a belly.
Yeah, he was on Healthy, Wealthy and Wise. That was the show he was the cook on back in the day on Channel 10.
Yeah.
Now, his daughter films all his videos in his kitchen, and he is super, super viral on TikTok and Instagram, and he's back.
Really?
He's back. And you know what? And the best thing about Huey is he's not really like doing anything too tricky. He's just opening up cans, putting them in, and teaching you how to make a spaghetti bolognese, and puts way too much wine in it. And I'm here for it.
Me too. I'm inspired by him. That's great.
Gina and Maddie.
The Central Coast's very own TV expert. If he wore a sort of pair of glasses that had a thicker frame, he'd be our Bill Collins. But anyway, Pablo Miller joins us to tell us all things TV. Hello, Pablo.
Oh, good morning. Tell you what, it smells nice in this studio.
I know, right?
It's not me.
No, it is me now because I hugged them so hard. The Mariners always arrive in here smelling very good.
Real men, right?
Real men.
Real men,
Oh,
yeah.
real
Very
men.
different this week, the smell.
Was that what do you think it was? Do you recognise?
Just masculinity, I think.
It's not the normal waft of Lynx Africa that I wear, that's for sure. All right, Pablo, what are we watching this week on the box? Well, you know what? Saturday night is a good night because most of the channels are going to be covering the election. Oh, what else is boring?
Yes.
So tell us what we should be watching Saturday night on the telly.
Well, thankfully, yes, the election debates are over, so we've got some real TV to sink our teeth into. Gina, I think you'd agree with me. There's some blokes that just have it, right? There's women want them, guys want to be them.
Pablo, I'm not on Sydney Weekender this week, mate. You're embarrassing me.
I'm talking about John Hamm, not Matty. Okay, so look, this brand new show on Apple TV, Your Friends and Neighbours. This is brilliant. And an all-star cast. You've got John Hamm, Amanda Peet and Olivia Munn. This is great. It's dropping every Friday. It's about a hedge fund manager who resorts to burglary after losing his job, and he targets his wealthy neighbours. And, of course, everything goes wrong, and he falls in friendships with people that you probably shouldn't be.
He's like a sexy silver fox. I just had a good look at him.
I bet you did, you dirty bird. The worry I find with all-star casts, Pablo, usually means that the show's a bit ordinary. This, not so much?
No, this is great. It's fun, it's fast, and honestly, I could watch John Hamm do anything on screen. So this is brought to you by the Banshee writer and creator Jonathan Troper.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. Like, if you like those shows where there's a lot of narration inside John Hamm's character's head, you're really going to enjoy this. Because you kind of get... You see what's happening on the screen, but then you also get his thoughts on it as well. So highly recommend this one.
Okay.
What is it, and where do we find it?
This is Your Friends and Neighbours on Apple TV, dropping every Friday. So check that one out. There's 4 episodes you can binge into. And then the other one I'd like to recommend, not quite as good as this, but definitely still well worth a watch, especially if you're sick of the election on Saturday. Black Mirror on Netflix, Season 7.
Boy.
What is that about?
So good.
It's so good. So brought to you by the very twisted mind of Charlie Brooker. These are basically like mini episodes on, mini movies on what life would be like if tech really took over our lives. So they're just individual episodes, so they don't really run as a proper season.
Yes.
But you'll notice sort of themes like of AI companies and different technology sort of sprinkled throughout each episode. But
Have you, Pablo, watched the Rashida Jones episode? The one where she's the teacher and they save her life by having her as in real life. So basically the concept is that for her, I don't want to spoil too much, but basically she now, for her to function as a human, breaks into ads. So it's like watching YouTube or like watching a streaming service that isn't a premium. She will stop being a human for 2 seconds and then maybe they'll be talking about bees in the classroom, for example, and then she'll launch into Capilano honey that's fantastic for a 15-second ad, and then she goes back to being a teacher again. It is phenomenal, and I watch that and go, we're not far away from that. There's something, to me, that seems so real.
So I'm confused because I haven't seen it. I'm trying to wrap my head, and you boys are explaining it to me for the first time.
Yeah.
She looks like a human.
She is human.
She's human.
Yeah.
But she
has a massive brain. She has a brain accident. She hits her head.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of running her off Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
oh my
Basically.
God.
And to do that, they supplement it by putting ads. Into her speech.
Yeah.
Who thought of this?
Charlie
It's-
Brooker.
Yeah, it's incredible. Sorry, I railroaded that. But yeah, no, I think it's phenomenal, Black Mirror. It's one of the
Okay.
best things on Netflix.
And you can kind of pick. So each episode is very, very different. So there's some that are very traumatic and very confronting. Maybe you
Yes.
don't want to watch them. So read the descriptions
Okay.
and then get into that. So
Good
that's on.
disclaimer, Pablo. Good disclaimer.
So that's on Netflix season 7, and highly recommend all the seasons. You can go back and watch.
Okay.
And then last but definitely least, do not watch this one. Good Cop, Bad Cop on Stan. Have you?
Oh, no.
Have you guys heard about this?
No, please tell me I've heard nothing.
It was filmed in Queensland last year, and for me, this is probably one of the worst offerings of the year. Stars Leighton Messi. You might know her from Gossip Girl. There's a bunch of other great Australian actors in there. Look, this is one of those oddball police show detective sort of things where they put two characters that shouldn't be friends trying to solve cases. Look, don't bother with it. Just watch High Potential instead.
Okay.
Much better.
I like
We
how you
just-
tell it how it is.
We just finished High Potential. I think it was like last week
Yes.
the final episode dropped. Oh, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where is more of it? I've been really loving that, and it's been a great show to watch with my kid as well. The 10-year-old is absolutely loving it because you get that sort of crime show without too much of the gore and horror. It's
Yeah.
a really good one. That's on Disney. Pablo, love that.
Pablo, I've just started watching The Life List on Netflix. Have you seen that?
No, but is it good? Did
Actually,
you like
I'm
it?
really enjoying it. So this young girl's mum, this is not giving away too much. She passes away, and the mum's looking through her stuff before she passes away, and she finds her daughter's list of what she wants to achieve in her life when she was like 12 or 13, and she makes her go back through and do that. And I've just started, and I'm really, really enjoying it. The Life List on Netflix.
You might have
Netflix?
to make your own list.
I've got one. Yeah, no, I should. I definitely should. And Maddie, what's the one that's coming out tomorrow? You and I were talking about yesterday.
It's
about
Four
couples.
Seasons. Four Seasons.
Four
Steve
seasons,
Carell.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I'm really looking forward to that.
Can
So,
you, maybe you can do that for us next fortnight, mate. Have a look at Four Seasons and come
Yeah.
back with a review.
100%.
I would love
Love it.
that.
Gina and Maddie.
And I know that there are a lot of parents here on the coast who are really sad today about their kids going back to school. So we thought, you know what? There's only one person to speak to about getting kids back into a school routine, and that is Jen Muir, our parenting expert from Connected Parenting AU. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning, guys. How are we? We've got the kids back.
Maddie's so excited.
Man, like just countless extended screen time requests, snacks, and Minecraft madness. It's time to go back to school, guys.
Yeah, we all need the reset. And quick little funny story. But yesterday we were all 4 boys of ours going back to school. We're all so excited. We'd prepped them all. We'd done all the work. And then I'm chatting to a neighbour out the front of our house. And she says about my youngest, who's at a different school to everybody else. And she said, you know that there's a staff development day today. And
Even Jen Muir gets it wrong.
so she saved me from that horrible feeling of being the only parent that turns up.
Oh, my
But we
gosh.
then had one more day.
One more day, yeah. my 3 go back today as well, Jen. So the routine, I just don't know how. To be honest, I don't know how my wife is dealing with it at the moment.
Feel sorry for Maddie.
I'm just sitting here sipping coffee, talking to Jonah. But that whole routine of them getting super attached to being at home, sleeping longer, just out of whack. How do we navigate that sort of experience of getting them ready to go again?
I want to normalise that kind of no matter what we do, it will feel a little bit out of whack this week. We've got a half week. The kids are readjusting. I mean, I think I said to my older 2 teenage boys about 1,700 times through the holidays, make sure the pants and the shirt fit.
Oh, because they grow so fast. That's right.
And then at 10 o'clock at night, the night before, I laughed when suddenly they realised the pair of pants they both swore to me fit was the one pair of pants. So, because they're the same size.
No.
No, that's my
They both had tried on the same pair of pants and went, yeah, I've got pants.
Oh, no.
So I just want to normalise that I really did. I said to my husband, you heard me tell them a million times. So don't feel upset of parents out there if it feels the same in your house, and no matter how much we prepped, it still feels a bit chaotic because that's the reality. But I think it's sort of talking to the kids, even possibly, you just get through the next 3 days and then you talk to the kids over the weekend about how do we want this term to look? What are the rules going to be around screen time? I think one of the biggest challenges most parents are struggling with is, coming off, like you said, coming off the devices, coming off the freedom. And I think it's really sitting down and saying, here are going to be the rules. We're not doing screens through the week, or we're only doing screens once the homework's done, or whatever your rule is. And I would write that up and have a kind of a bit of a plan for the term on your fridge. Keep it really simple. But, we do homework from this time, or we don't do screens until Friday night, or whatever your rules are. We kind of put that up on the fridge. And if there are things we're expecting the kids to do, like get their lunch boxes out of their bags at night, kind of putting that in on your rules and really talking to them. And then that way what we're doing is just gently nudging them and kind of getting that routine happening once we get going.
Love that, Jen. You did mention the H word there, homework, and I think term 2 is kind of where it sort of, well, for my lot, it starts to ramp up a little bit.
Yeah.
And it is, other than, dinner time, I think homework time is one of the biggest struggles. And with the kids' school, they kind of get homework to do for the week, and then they have to hand it back in, like say, Thursday to Thursday or whatever it is. And my lot just love, and I can't, sometimes I just give in to the argument and go, yeah, sure, do it Thursday morning with Mum. Fine, I'll do it Wednesday night. They just want to cram it. They just want to do it at the last minute. How do I, or anyone listening, get their kids to do homework before the last minute? I'm at a loss.
Look, I think here's the thing about homework. Once kids are older, like we're talking year 5 and up, then we do have to sort of support them with a little bit of a pattern and a routine around, and the way you might get them to do it is say, look, I know you're probably keen to watch a bit of telly tonight, or you're keen to, whatever, shoot hoops. My older kid likes going to the gym. You need to get about an hour of desk time done before you go to the gym. So that kind of thing can help. I have to be honest and say I do not push homework in the early primary years. The evidence shows there is honestly no real gain for kids. And especially if your kids are fighting it, I would never choose kind of emotional disconnection over getting a homework sheet done, only because the evidence just doesn't back it as doing anything for our kids. If your kids are keen and they're happy to sit down and cram it in and chuck it in, I'm okay with that. Like, I think that, like, especially in those junior years, our kids are sitting at that desk for 6 hours. If they want to get home and they're playing on the trampoline and they're kind of using their bodies, and as long as they're reading, I am not fazed about it. Only from year 5 and up do we need to sort of support with a bit of a routine.
So, Jen, when you get to school and your little ones haven't done the homework, do you say to the teacher, excuse me, do you know who you're talking to, and let me show you the research?
I have sat in parent-teacher interviews and they're like, homework's not coming in. And I'm like, yeah, no, we don't do it. And they go, oh, okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. God, I wish you were around when my son Jackie was little, because I didn't have any of this together at all. I used to pay him, like, we had the thing on the fridge, which I think is great. And I think I only had a boy, but with boys, I do have a husband. So if you lay stuff out and make it obvious what to do, don't tell them this, and this, they can look at the fridge and read it. But we used to pay Jackie like 20 cents to empty the dishwasher, 20 cents to take the bin out, 20 cents to do even 10 minutes of homework, 20 cents to practice your guitar. And we sort of did it bribe-wise. Is that not a thing anymore? Is that a bad idea?
Oh, look, it's definitely not a bad idea. In terms of, like, really teaching kids to start intuitively doing their own routine, as long as you're doing other things to support the learning. So putting those lists out and getting them to start thinking of it themselves, the evidence shows, look, it's fine. It's not going to help if your child is struggling, though. So for some parents, if they're saying, look, I'll pay you 20 cents to do your homework, and the child is emotionally dysregulated and they just can't. It doesn't matter what we bribe or what we offer. Or we might threaten and say, if you don't do your homework, there'll be no TV. And again, if kids are struggling, it won't help. And that's when they kind of need us to do something different. But if your kid is, like, if that's working, that's okay.
I also think with inflation, they might just laugh at you with 20 cents these days.
Yeah, you can't offer 20 cents anymore.
I know. Every day it adds up, Jen. Every day it adds up. The end of the week.
Always a pleasure chatting to you. We'll have you on the show again in another couple of weeks. You did mention having boys. G's got a boy. I think you've got 4 boys, Jen. I've got 1. There's a lot of talk about boys around at the moment out of adolescence, and I feel like boys might be a little bit unfairly targeted at the moment. We might have a little bit can we chat to you about the term toxic masculinity and raising boys in this new world in a couple of weeks, Jen?
Yeah, love to chat about that. I'm a big fan of supporting boys, especially in the early years, because we want to turn out beautiful, kind, compassionate men, and I'm doing a lot of content on this over the next month, so would love to chat about that.
Awesome. And you can catch Jen on Graham, Connected Parenting AU. The book is Little People, Big Feelings, and fabulous podcast with Amy Gerard as well, Beyond the Chaos. Jen, have a great day, and
Thanks,
they're back to school. See you, mate.
Listen to Gina and Maddie weekday mornings from 5:30.
Live on the Star Player.